Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. That was interesting looking at Seward's dashboard. Actually, I gave you a warning, I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago that it might be down here. You can see he's slowly rebuilding our matrix here. And the great part about it is he's done his infrastructure change. So it should be pretty clear sailing for him going forward, and screeners and stuff like that are coming online, so super stoked. TRI for the win. Interesting that our breadth indicator here is actually giving us a little bit of a danger sign here. So we never did get really like insanely overbought. Anytime we see both the indicators, this is a fast moving average of the cumulative breadth, and this is a slow moving average. And whenever you see them both get above, it's like, oh, all hell's gonna break loose. So we never got that, but clearly, the way I'm interpreting this is I think the breadth of the market went a little too far. Our Russell 2000 little comparison study, it's basically gone sideways here. And the sort of inertia of the market, breadth-wise, the whole shebang, has kind of just sort of petered out here a bit. The slow moving average is now catching up to the point where they've actually issued a sell signal here. So we'll see how that goes. What's really interesting is when these signals come in, price action around that event, you're kind of like, man, I don't know. So here we are again. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually is a usable signal, but the market right now is kind of like, I don't know. So really interesting anecdote, and this is going to be a lot of fun to study. I mean, obviously, especially on this free YouTube page, don't take any trades off of anything that I say here. This is edutainment, and nothing more than Brian get a platform to tell you what he thinks is happening in the market. Big fucking deal. It's just my opinion. So what? If you can glean something from this that it happens to agree with your thinking, awesome. But for heaven's sakes, do not take trades based off of what I show you here. That's not appropriate at all. So my thinking here and the tools that we have built on the site are starting to issue for me. Better be careful. And in fact, what I've kind of noticed, and my history, for whatever it's worth, is I have a great, long track record of being right. Way to go, Brian. But at the same time, usually I'm early. So, really good example, like last summer and last fall, I was getting all apeshit worried about the downside and recession and all that shit. And I was about, maybe about 4 or 5 months early. I started to get, sort of leaning, gotta get worried again, a month or so ago. And I continually feel that way. I am worried, and as a technician, the charts speak for themselves. But probably also too, I'm probably also early. So be aware of that. That's one of the reasons why it's so important for me to buy lots and lots and lots of time on any kind of options trade I do. That way, if I am early, I've bought enough window so that the trade idea can work. But why do I say that? I just, for the record, I want people, and I put this tweet out just so everybody can go back and say, in the middle of, or the end of July, beginning of August, 2020, what's Brian's, where's my head, right? You don't know when the break will come, and you just never do. I'm sure that break in February caught everybody off guard. I mean, there were a couple people that were like, this is it, awesome, way to go. But on balance, I don't think many people in our society was expecting the market to break as hard as it did there. So I'm uncomfortable and I'm worried, but at the same time too, I know that by definition, I'm usually early. So I've been nibbling. I'll throw a couple $100 here, a few $100 there, a couple $100 here. Not betting the farm on anything. And just, like an option that I bought yesterday is a March 2021 option. Buying just a world of time, but just starting to lock in some levels in the market. So, I have been nibbling away. I bought a Bitcoin put back in the last little consolidation zone. It's a September option. I mean, the market may break and go back down there by then. I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm getting awfully tempted to go buy a December Bitcoin put now. Ethereum is coming into its fundamental event window. Bought some Ethereum December puts there a week or so ago. Obviously the market moved up a bit more from that level, but I'm seriously thinking about going and buying a few more of those puts and just averaging down a little bit. And also I bought actually some of the currencies, I think, especially the commodity-based currencies. They're looking really, really overextended. So I am starting to accumulate insurance policies on the market. And you really won't see those insurance policies pay off. Probably, my hunch is maybe the middle of October, maybe the end of October, as the massive uncertainty around the upcoming election really sort of, articulates itself. That's basically what I'm thinking right now. And any positions that I do have on, that maybe I sold half on a double previously and they just keep moving, okay, we'll keep spoon feeding the market. You can want to take the market higher, fine. You can have more of my stock or warrants or options or whatever it is I have. Not calling a top here, but I'm telling you, and remember, everybody watching this video, I'm telling you what I'm doing with my own money. I'm not telling you what to do. You can do any old damn thing you want. I don't care. I'm actually being honest here with you and telling you what I'm doing with my money in the marketplace. So to that end, and this is probably a really good example of the way that I approach the market, in that here I tweeted out a comment about me when I see this wasn't a complete outside downside reversal, but wow, very, very looking bearish price action. And Julian's favorite indicator, the 8s and 9s on the Tom DeMarc's got to get our attention. I don't know when this is going to break, but my hunch is if you zoom out on the chart, at some point we're dipping back down against those lows. But at the same time too, you want to keep taking stocks higher? Okay, fine. This is a good example of a short-term options trade I bought, and hell, I got the January options. Remember, I like to buy lots and lots of time. Beautiful key reversal. Actually, I tweeted out the other day that I sold half on a double, and gee whiz, bang, they just gave me another double here this morning. Okay, I'll take it. 50% rule, 52-week range. This actually isn't rocket science. We actually planned for this event to happen. And this is a great learning piece for you guys. Notice that the range over this 52-week period, right, there's 52 weeks to there. Notice how long it took for this 50% bounce to happen. Almost exactly half the duration from the move top to bottom. Beautiful example of W.D. Gann and everything that he teaches. And how he trades the market. 50% of the range in about 50% of the time. It's like textbook. Hashtag textbook. So, market's paying me. Also, too, this is a really good example. I still have more calls on the books. This is a call trade, so this is an options trade. I still have more. They want to keep taking it higher? Fine. And you want to see an example? You don't believe me this can't happen? I got off just an insane failure today on, here it is, on Blink. Look at this. This is crazy. I bought this thing at 40 cents, sold half on a double, then did absolutely nothing for, basically a year. And the irony of it all is it actually set up another beautiful reload event right here. I didn't because I had the original position. And here we go. And I just got an absolutely insane fill. And for whatever it's worth, I still have more of these things on the books. They want to double it again? Okay, fine. Now we're starting to talk. That's a 20x move on that thing. I mean, that's crazy. But leave yourself into a position that maybe it'll go 40x. All right, well, then I'll let him have a little more. Maybe it'll go 80x. All right, fine, we'll let him have a little more. I don't care. And if anything, this is the one good thing I like about the stock market is that, unlike the cryptocurrency space, there can only be certain exponential growth to a commodity, especially these cryptocurrencies that have bazillions of coins out. Like, you can't, everybody do the math. How much money would be if, say, Cripple went to like $30 a token? I mean, it'd be more money than is on planet Earth. But yet there's still Cripple Army fans that believe that that XRP can go to like $20 a coin. It's just not realistic. Whereas something like the stock market, because it's an earnings vehicle, as long as the company just keeps growing earnings, the upside is limitless. And of course, look at your Amazons, your Microsofts, etc. They technically, there is no top here, so I will just keep spoon feeding as this thing just keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. In this particular case, I got off a little cheeky. I'm selling half on a triple. What a cheeky bastard, eh? So this got, and frankly speaking, I'm actually a bit surprised that we were able to get these. I'm not quite sure why. I think I had stepped away. There's a warrant, but the stock itself finished the day very, very strong yesterday. So I didn't actually have an order working, and then I was like, okay, well, I probably should let some go here. The stock jumped up, and right on the open, I was like, well, what the hell, I'll take it. I think it's even higher now. So the point here is I'm just paying myself as this thing just keeps working its way higher. And, the interesting thing is there are stories within the crypto space that were exactly the same thing. I came into the crypto space about 4 or 5 years ago and just simply said, look, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I do in the stock market. I'm just going to do it here. And this was one of our first ideas. This is a funny coin. Originally, way back here, it was called Duck Notes. And so when I bought it, and actually I think it was my first trade I did on this thing, I think I bought this W in here, if I'm not mistaken. But I distinctly remember this was just a great example of us just selling halves on doubles, and as this thing works its way higher. Remember, this is like, 25, 30 sats, and look how insanely high this thing went, right? I mean, these kind of candles you can't really do anything in, but something like this, could I gotten a fill at 260 sats? Sure. Could I gotten fills up here at 500 sats? Sure. That's 20x off of those 25 levels. And gee whiz, they're doing it again. And I'm not really following the format I'm supposed to be today, but I thought it was great. Lots of people in TRI went and bought this and trying to emulate. I bought my Verge at 2 sats. They were like, okay, well, I want to be long the Quacker at 2 sats. Well, they couldn't quite. I doubt you could have gotten a fill at 2, but you could definitely very comfortably have gotten in at 3 or 4. And here we are at 14, so you just got yourself a free position. I mean, you tell me. I mean, this isn't that long, right? This is the middle of June. Could you gotten filled at 4? Has Bitcoin tripled in price here in the past 2 months? I don't think so. So, it just goes to show when you're in a friendly altcoin market, man, you can make a lot of money really quickly. Some people don't like this, and, especially the Bitcoin maximalists, they hate this thinking. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I couldn't give a shit with what you buy. What I'm just going to simply say is this stuff does exist out there, and hopefully everybody sees the very well-defined W's and everything that we do. Sell halves on doubles. Now you got yourself a free position, and who knows, maybe they're going to do this again through the next cycle. I wouldn't surprise me one bit. And, full disclosure, Julian, who does his baby powder report here on Thursdays, he's kind of like, well, why aren't you in there buying this? And I'm like, well, I'm too busy in the stock market right now. Just having too much fun there. maybe I'll come back and start getting these engines up and running. I have bought a number of alts, but I haven't been nearly as active in the altcoin market as years gone by. But having said that, are there opportunities out there? I mean, you tell me. When you look at an image like that, you should, that's the opportunity is now here or opportunity is nowhere. There's lots of people that will look at this and go, this is a piece of shit, waste your time, don't even think about it. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be buyer here today, but hopefully everybody can see. We call this a narrow sideways channel. So a break up through here, it's actually not a bad risk. I mean, just even to go buy some at 4 sats and just say, fuck it, I'm just going to risk to 0. Just see what happens. Nanny nibbles kind of strategies. And they're getting paid here now. So, and also, too, this is a good commentary on what kind of market state it is right now. I mean, we're in the fluffy, silly, nonsense, idiot kind of market. So this kind of stuff can move up in this kind of environment. Ethereum Catalyst isn't until, I think it's on the 4th. So here we are, the 30th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now. Over this next 5-day period, could we see lots more of this kind of fun stuff going on in Altland? Sure. Once we get on the other side of that event, I would be very, very careful, people. Okay, so kind of a weird format today. I suppose we'll go back and do what we're supposed to be doing here. Bigger risk on, risk off kind of conversations. US dollar finally coming just slamming down into this bot level. It's interesting though, I did throw on some chaos levels and I found it interesting that if I did one off of this consolidation and this consolidation, and I really like this chaos battle and the acceptance here. Oh boy, I got 2 targets here, 91.30 and 91.19. This could be what's called an alt AB equals CD. And in alt AB equals CDs, sometimes the CD leg will go extension levels to like 127s and 1.618s. So let's see if we look at this. This is the bot objective. But if this is an alt AB equals CD, let's see where 127s and 1.618s line up here. Boom. Oh, go the other direction though, please. Boom. There we go. Okay, so we got these 2 fibs just on the other side of 127s. I mean, would this be a new trade here? Absolutely not. We've been conjecturing about, was the market going to try and pivot off of this trend line just drawn off of that key pivot low and then that low? My hunch is there is going to be some play here, but I don't know, man, especially with these 2 chaos levels right down in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some just absolutely horrific event here. I actually thought that it was going to be around that Fed announcement yesterday, but frankly speaking, man, you watch that Fed speech by Powell, and it's sort of like, well, we're in a pretty shitty situation. We are in deflation. He kept trying to say disinflation, disinflation, disinflation. I mean, no question in my mind, people. This is deflation. They're going to have to print up a shitload more money to try and float all these bonds. And they'll just put them on the Fed's balance sheet, whatever the hell that is. And just dilute the purchasing power of the currency to try and keep the damn system going. What really should happen here is all of those bonds should go into bankruptcy, should be mass liquidations, should be, just, 30-40% unemployment. Just wash the system out. Fuck over all these bondholders. Look at you people, Goldman Sachs. They wrote all these bonds. Take the fucking hit. But that's probably not what's going to happen, right? Because there's just too many people in too high power places that will prevent that from happening. And we're just going to have to get used to Japanification. The fascinating thing I find about this, and I think I've sort of conjectured with you guys about this, was, was this April pivot, or July 1st pivot, was it something along those lines? I was thinking, and I guess I thought it was, maybe I did that off of there. I thought it was going to be something like this, but nope. Sorry, Brian. Great. I actually encouraged a lot of the site members, and I encouraged. I don't know whether I talked about it in the public or not, but I did a tweet out about it. The president of the old prop firm that I used to work for, Michael Patak, did a little quick interview with his cronies over there at Top Step. And it was, classic marketing plug stuff. But the key to that interview that I found was that Michael actually spoke to you very much like a real trader. And his one line that he used in that interview, which is just perfect, is strong opinions loosely held. So, I had an opinion that we were going to do something like this. I think my big theory was this was a mid-pivot, and then we were going to take higher. Clearly, the market went, fuck you, Brian. I don't think so. Nice try. So that thinking had to just come right off the table. I'm wondering, if we just flip this around, it almost looks like this will be an inverted way of this is just so one-directional, and this was too. Maybe this was the pivot, and now we go there to there, and there to there, and then replicate this over there. I don't know. I do know that the market likes to move in a very symmetrical fashion. That kind of like the reason why I like the bot so much. A, B, C, D kind of thinking. We are, the interesting thing for the people that did have the chutzpah, the kahunas, the wherewithal to actually hit this bot level, you can see we're coming into that profit objective. So the irony of it all is on a day like this, I would be like, if I was short this and I'd be like, okay, come on. And this would be just absolute torture, just waiting. And then, on the event, I'd be like, oh, banging out doubles, ding, 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 look at me, I'm so smart. And then, the market might just zip around all around here. But this, to me, is the end of the move, not the beginning. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's just my opinion. Take it for whatever it's worth. Since you're paying nothing for these videos, and we don't even ask Google for any ad revenue or anything, so they don't really promote our videos at all. It's free, right? It's Brian's opinion. Edutainment. Fun for the whole family. Sit and laugh to that the comic stylings of that idiot Canadian. I do find it interesting that as the U.S. dollar's been coming down here over the past couple days, stock market's kind of floundering here. Remember we talked, look at that, Russell 2000 trying to break out here. Oh, hello. Maybe there's a little hint that risk is coming back into the market. Did notice that the S&Ps themselves were kind of parked. I do believe that the whole market right now is waiting for this afternoon. Why? Because this afternoon, after the market closes, we get some really big earnings numbers. That they're the darlings of the market. So obviously, if they report well, market's going to be happy. If they report poorly, uh-oh. So after the bell here, we've got Amazon. Oh boy! And what's interesting is, can you see what letter of the alphabet is in there? So what's fascinating is somebody's actually put in a sell pattern in there. It might just go and bust out to new highs, especially with earnings. Obviously these guys are in the sweet spot of the market. Huge formation, so certainly not tradable on my part. But I did find it fascinating that there is an M working there. The Goog. Oh boy. Can everybody see the head and shoulders top that appears to be forming there? Very fractal looking. Facebook. Facebook already does have an M working. Wow, that's shocking. So, the point that I would just make here is, these are obviously pretty. Apple, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, the big boys are stepping up here today. So, I mean, is anybody going to really take any huge bets in the marketplace ahead of all these numbers? And this might be a sort of, buy the rumor, market staying relatively firm. We don't have the Fed now backstopping us anymore with, okay, well, what's the Fed going to say on Tuesday? Or what's the Fed going to say next week? That the next time Fed does something is like a month from now. So is the market just waiting for these big boys to, report? And then we're going to see what the next few weeks looks like? I got a funny feeling that's the case. So, pop your popcorn, get ready. This could be a very interesting day. Not so much, ironically enough, today, but actually tomorrow. And then ultimately how the market reacts into the coming week. So I thought that was fascinating. I mean, the big boys, the darlings, they're all hitting us here after the market today. Get ready. And you know what? I mean, maybe those numbers are going to come out so stellar. I mean, they're basically taking over the world. That the market just shrugs it off and says, these guys are making so much money, I cannot not buy their stock. You never know. FYI, I am watching a bunch of bear proxies on the stock market and did go and pick up a bear proxy put option on the S&P 500. March options, though, forever down the road. Did find it really interesting, our little cute little conversation here about crude oil with you guys. And somebody actually did even post that they appreciated me doing this. I don't know whether it's of any value to you guys, but it is a great anecdote of sort of a trader's life. How many shots is it going to take to actually get the trade that makes the market move back to the 50% level? I don't know. But here we go again. You know, and this position at one point this morning was, pretty deeply in the money. Only time will tell. There is an M-top working here. We got our little M-top on the 4 hours and a counter trend rally into reload zones. For the purposes of this video, I didn't chalk up the reload zone trade because I thought maybe I'd be like a little too sort of window dressing-ish. And just simply said, hey, we're going to hit this double top and let's see what happens. So it's working away, just doing its thing. Kind of cool. And again, you know, if US dollar's heading lower, risk on. Why is this thing coming down? There's a disconnect here. Something's not right. Heading on over to risk off. Now, the interesting thing with risk off, and I think to all intents and purposes, I'm getting the feeling that this is a risk off market. Maybe, like I said, if all those companies come out with just stellar earnings and they're just pristine and the forward guidance is we're going to make so much money, maybe we launch higher. In fact, actually, if you look at the NASDAQ, I think it looks really interesting here because I think it's sort of the tell. You can see the NASDAQ has already got this double top, and that's probably like from that Amazon double top. So it's already got that working, and I thought it was interesting when we look at like the lower time frames. Where is it? I thought it was, maybe it's over here. Yeah, here it is. I mean, first off, the S&P 500, is this a Gartley? Man, that's an interesting debate. Could be. Didn't quite hit 78.6. Gartley, we would have really liked to have seen that 78.60.2. That's close enough to 61.8 that I think Gartley fans might accept that. Maybe what has to happen here is they have to wash these highs here into that earnings, and then if this is the Gartley, then I suppose you could argue that, you know, if you assume that this was a Gartley and you had hunted this fractal, the conservative harmonic trader, in my eyes, takes this range and just says, what's a 38.2? Okay, that's down there. So, and I don't know whether the risk reward would have even been acceptable. The best, you didn't get an inside bar. Maybe off 4 hour you got something. At best you got a fractal here. And if you hit that, I mean, that's a million miles away from the Gartley level, so I don't really like that trade at all. But, you know, I suppose knee-jerk, hey, if I get Gartleys that pop up and then the first fractal that comes in, just hit it and take damn profits at 38.2 and just don't even talk to me. Okay, but that's not my trading style. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. Interesting too, if we look at sort of higher time frame, and I'm just babbling away here today. This never did confirm a double top breakdown. Came damn close. But notice the low here, double top, boop, 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 bang. That would have been a loss of 31.91.50. And we traded down to 31.95. Oh, hello. 31.91.50. 31.95. So sorry, dyslexia got me there. So we did not break that low. So there is no double top here yet. I'll tell you, no doubt about it. If the double top does come in now here, that's toast. In fact, that Gartley pattern's actually got a little bit of a W working there off the daily chart. So again, I think what's happening here is they're setting up tonight for that huge earnings announcement. And I think I showed you on the NASDAQ, you can really see the war that's going on here. Whether it be off of the daily chart, you can see the double top. Problem is that's a clothesline high. So if you change this to a clothesline, that's actually a new high. So actually seeing a counter trend rally back up to these levels and then the dump, if this is the top, that would actually make more sense to me than anything else. You see how crude oil does have this double top here. See, up, down, up, fail. Whereas this has up, down, up. We might just keep working our way higher here. So again, watch those earnings on those big tech stocks tonight. That's probably the driver of risk right now. So flip side, obviously if those tech stocks disappoint, the bonds will work their way higher. It's interesting how the bonds are now hitting that AB equals CD objective. Maybe they're now sort of setting up, okay, now we can dump with risk coming back into the market. Totally possible. So that's sort of what I'm watching there. Is that you blinging me or somebody else, Kevin? Are you trying to tell me, hey, you're going a little overtime here today, Brian?
No, not me.
Hey, yeah, somebody just PM me, hey, I got an earthing mat here during the week. I was telling everybody, for whatever it's worth, on this free YouTube page, somebody shared this video, this Nalo, shared it with me. I watched it last night. I got to tell you, man, it's pretty damn compelling. So I encouraged everybody on the site to take a real good look at that video. Anyway, bonds working their way up. Did they just hit their upside objective here? Maybe. Of course, if that earnings reports and all that shit that comes out badly, and the stocks do start to break and the oil just continues working its way lower, my hunch is these bonds are going to ratchet higher here. But it looks to me like it's come into an objective here. So I don't know. If anything, I'm almost liking the idea of, I think somebody even showed us a chart earlier today that had like Google was trying to put in some sort of, because Google's one of the ones that's reporting after the bell, what is it? It's GOGL, right? I think that's the symbol. Interesting. So, look at that, Kevin. They're trying to put in an outside-upside key reversal here. Does somebody know something about earnings coming down the pike? What was interesting about this was off of like the hourly chart. I guess, wow, it must have been like a 5-minute chart. Jeez. We had people in the lounge I saw this morning were like, hey, you know what? Considering earnings is now till after the bell and they're already shitting this thing, maybe it's an idea to go grab some. So fascinating how that's played out. Let's keep an eye out for this. This might be a harbinger. And of course, like we said, earnings are coming out right after the bell. Does somebody know something here? And I would expect, believe it or not, for us to trade back up to this 1575 area, believe it or not. So go figure. We'll see. Like I said, the whole market, I think right now, is concentrated on what the hell are these guys going to say after the market closes today. Wonderful. Yield gold. I was actually kind of pleased in myself for actually hopping off a lot of gold names on these rallies here. I'm not quite sure where people have gotten this idea that I don't make money from trading. I did really well off of my own investment ideas in gold here over the past month or two. So I'm not even quite sure. I think it's like kind of sour grapes a little bit, where I tell people I make money and they're like, well, somebody else must have done that for you. Which I find kind of insulting, but it's this silly social media. And actually what's kind of funny, sort of a side comment, in a weird sort of way, I get the feeling that the universe is kind of trying to make it up to me. Because, man, these trolls are coming out of nowhere being just total assholes. They always say, what's the best revenge? Just live a good life. So I'm living a good life. I'm getting rewarded. I'm doing really well. I think the people that are following me are feeling like I have something of value to say. But I get the impression that sort of karma is paying me back. I'm not even quite sure how these people justify shitting on me. But anyway, trolls are trolls, right? So back to our story here. I had some fantastic wins in the gold space recently. And, FYI, I really didn't. I played this gold move and this bot through a big gold stock. And the stock got up, and the option more than doubled, which I think it makes sense. That's usually what happens with these ideas. I mean, it's definitely more often than not. What do I want to show you here? Where's my other charts? Yeah, I guess here. And I was feeling kind of like, I got a bad feeling about this. Newmont was going to come out with earnings, and the option itself doubled up in here. And this is my strike price. So it's just getting to my strike price. And if we needed to melt back here, what would happen to those options? So on this particular trade, I just said, fuck it, just blow it out. I might entertain coming back in here if I get more sort of constructive price action. I believe that the gold market is actually moving a lot with the stock market right now. I thought it was really interesting, the Fed Powell yesterday. He goes, for some reason the public has got this misconception in their eyes right now that we are in an inflationary environment. And he was like, man, if it's anything but that. This is deflation. Of course, the public always comes in and buys the market top and sells the market bottom. So, I do like the idea of the gold market rallying into that Jupiter-Saturn cross there into sort of November total chaos. Maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. So, like I said, and especially when assets double in price, because that's a knee-jerk level for me. In this particular case, I just said, fuck it, just sell the whole damn thing at a double and just walk away. It's interesting, in our TRI SOF club meeting, we did have one gentleman, David, just fantastic trader. He had studies that were saying, I have to buy this thing when we get down into this area here. I think he's trading a different thing, though, that's like $5-6. It might be a different proxy on this space. But it's interesting to see how the gold stocks basically just gapped higher here today. This is the bear proxy. So if we look at something like the XAU, this would be sort of the inverse of whatever this is. So you can see the island top. You can see the fractal fail yesterday. I don't know whether that's enough to call a top. But, looking at that chart, gee whiz. Notice that this thing bottomed, same thing with the stock market. So if the stock market needs to top, and I'm feeling it's looking kind of heavy, some of these currencies need to top, some of the commodities need to top. Well, I mean, everybody knows gaps like to be filled, and there are a hell of a lot of gaps in this thing. So, I don't know. I'm definitely lightening up a lot of positions. And they're positions that, are either VCIM names or they're options trades that have gone up into good profit levels, and I'm just ringing the register. And these are ideas of mine. Nobody else is telling them. Remember, I tell you, am I going to come on these shows and tout somebody else's trade idea and call it mine? Come on. Anyway, it's here nor there. I thought it was fascinating, and this is a commentary about gold futures trading. You look at a chart like this, and it doesn't really make sense. Well, I thought, Brian, you said that this thing's down, yet it gapped higher, and it's down on the day? This is a continuous contract. And it was interesting, because I popped in the Top Step community, and they're basically a professional prop firm. And they were, they are obsessed about being in the right contract to trade. And the other day, Hoagland John Hoagland, one of the principals there, he was like, "We've moved to December. We're in December gold now. Everybody's in December gold." So I think what this chart is more about, if you look at this price action and try and understand it, is this is like the October contract, and now we're looking at the December because this is like a spot chart. I don't know whether I have that correct. Maybe they're looking at the October now. I suppose we could figure out exactly what it is. But I think that's sort of what's going on here with this funny price action. If we just look at the price chart itself, so you can see we actually opened up and are now below yesterday's price action. So all of that sort of monkey funny business disappears. This isn't really, to me, that's not a sell signal. I don't see I have any sell signals here. I just have a, holy Jesus, maybe we're getting a little bit nosebleedy signals. You know, that bot setup, I suppose this is like a lower time frame chart. So let's maybe go a little higher. Let's go a weekly chart. So, you know, ironically enough, I think you can see this A, B, C, D. Probably my hunch is somewhere up in this area is a realistic objective. Seems completely realistic. But I wonder whether maybe that's already hit it, eh? So if we go, I guess we gotta go there to there. We'll go. Boom. So it did do 33. Let's see where this takes us. That's after that low there, right? So I guess that's in there. Could come up a little bit higher. We didn't quite draw that up to that high, did we? So something like that. Off of that low. So, you know, could there be some monkey games around here? Sure. It's not overly surprising. Interesting, you know, weekly futures charts, they do not like to leave price gaps. And I really, you know, and this is the same sort of thing as Bitcoin in a weird sort of way. I like the idea of you know, maybe even trading this thing into that December peak. But interesting how we have these price gaps all in here, and that big price gap right in here. There's also another big price gap down in here, and I think this is probably the level that they want to come into in the short term, and that's that weekly gap, which is right there. So, you know, this is exactly the same as the Bitcoin chart. You know, if I did want to take a new trade here, I would just simply say, all right, well, there's your range. Show me now a nice consolidation, set up 3 higher lows, blah, 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 blah. You've heard this a million times before. Draw your fibs, and away you go. Right now, like I said, I think I'm actually kind of happy just hopping off and just cool my jets for a little while. If you're really aggressive, maybe hunt those bear proxy ETFs, the dust, I think is. But I'll probably leave that idea. That's probably a little too aggressive for a guy like me. I mean, I find it fascinating. 1986, that was a good year. 1987, 30, even better year. 2002, I mean, basically $15 difference. Could we swim around all up in here to hit that ABXCD objective? Just like the US dollar's coming down and swimming around here to hit that? Sure. Wouldn't be surprising one bit. You know, maybe we might find that the stock market starts firming up as we get closer and closer to those earnings, and people know ahead of time, and woo, bull goes on. It is interesting to see that the small caps seem to be pretty damn happy. And I'll tell you, speaking of small caps and happy, I think I showed you earlier, so I don't need to show you again. This Blink warrant trade. I bought these warrants at like 40 cents. Here they are, $9.29. That's insane. I mean, do any of you guys want to learn how to do this? Ironically enough, it wasn't really that difficult of a trade. The difficult thing is just managing it and just staying in it and doing everything appropriately and not freaking out and not fat fingering and all that kind of fun stuff. And really, I'm still sitting on warrants. And I'll see you guys. I think, like I said, I got some off here at $8.90 or so today. I'll see you guys at $16, $17, and I'll be selling some more. And it's the same thing that I did in the crypto space. Same shit, different pile. Rinse and repeat. So, give me a big shout out. Congratulations on my fill. Kind of pulled one out of my butt. Actually, you want to see an example of why you really should try and hold on to winning positions, but even Brian sometimes has a hard time doing that. We had this one that gave me a nice double, and you can see all the logic, and I sold half on a double, and then I went on my brokerage account here this morning because you can see what it did here today. And it turns out that I already had an open order working to sell half on a double. So when I looked at my log, I actually sold the whole damn thing at a double. Boo! I only made 100% on my money? Boo! You suck, Brian. Fuck, you're a loser. I'm just being stupid. Hey, you like that one, Kevin? I haven't heard too much out of Kevin today. Kevin, are you there? Kevin.
Ha ha ha.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
Just kidding.
Did you get in on this crazy thing with me?
Yeah. I actually did something similar to you, but I got filled at 618 because it
618. That's up here.
Yeah. Well, I had my order working and they halted trading or something. I'm not exactly sure. I got to go see in my logs where my order was working.
So you still got some on the books.
No, that's what I did like you, is I had my second level working, second double I think, and it filled me for all of them. I don't know.
At 618?
Yeah, so I'm not complaining.
The guy's bitching because the stock's $1.50 lower than where he sold it. I think you know what? If you want to switch positions, I'll be more than happy. You want to switch accounts? You can have my 100% sell here, and I'll take your shitty 100% sell up here. Anyway,
I'm not complaining, but I don't have any more.
All right, well, congratulations, sir. My hunch is, Kevin, he'll probably see the stock work right back, and he'll be buying the stock back where I sold all of mine and just trading circles around me.
They're all right back down there.
So congratulations.
Another side member got a sell off up at the top there.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think TRI builds some pretty damn good traders. So, and you don't have to just listen to Brian. Brian's a fucking idiot, right? Brian's always wrong, right? Right? Isn't that how it goes? I mean, listen to Kevin.
Yeah, right.
Kevin's the man. You do realize that I'm just the pretty face. I'm the puppet. Kevin's got his hand up my ass right now telling me what to say.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, what everybody really should realize is you taught us all this shit, man.
I know, but all it takes is one or two trolls and Brian completely loses all self-confidence. So thank you for saying that, sir, and I appreciate it. But anyway, long and short of it, Kevin did really, really well on that PRPO, as did a bunch of other TRIers. I think we've talked a bit about corn here today, and we talked a little bit about Ethereum catalyst coming up here. I do think that the corns here is at a bit of a resistance point. I'm a huge fan of things like high to low trend lines and previous peak trend lines. And I noticed, I think it was this one. I don't have it on this chart, but I think it was like there. Yeah, look at that, eh? So, not only did we have boom, boom, bang, and boom. And I love these. These are so cool. When you get the swing low to swing high, you draw these trend lines. Oh my God, they're so sick. So I can understand why we stalled here. And of course, good old 1.618 GAN, all that kind of fun stuff. I mean, this is fantastic that we're finally getting up through all this. Also, too, a longtime site, well, he was a site veteran, OGs, we like to call him around TRI. He sent me this expanding triangle kind of thinking and playing connect the dots off of these lines. That's up in this area as well. You know, obviously this is open to interpretation. Could I take this and go, well, maybe I need to crisp that up, right? And so now that takes that line down to there. And, oh, gee whiz, we hit it right on. Well, I mean, maybe yes, maybe no. All I'm going to say is there's some sort of level up in here. I don't know what it is. This shout out to Jonathan. Super, super smart guy and a really, really nice person. And ironically enough, I've been thinking that for quite some time. Keep in mind, too, guys, though, that there is this funny little chaos. This bottom that came in here originally back when they were just shitting their pants there back in March. It painted this funny 11,578. And then we also have, like, this consolidation. It paints, actually, that's just that cheeky little one. Probably not relevant. But here, let's do one just off of, say, like, oops, that's one. Yeah, is that it? Yeah. And let's maybe go, oh, I like this one. There to there, and there to there. All right, well, we hit that guy, 10,700 on the nose. We could probably also do another one off of here. Just sort of thinking about sort of what are some upside objectives here in the short term. So we can go there to there, and then we can go... Oh, come on, you. Stop it. There we go. There to there. So let's see what that tells us. That number is... Oh, look at that. I love when these things do that. That's crazy. All of this consolidation was suggesting up here, right? This one here was here. I suppose we could maybe... Oh, yeah, that's this whole range right in here was up in here. I mean, I do like the idea that this is some local top. And if, I still think that the whole market, of course, keep in mind, Ethereum's big sort of party event date is there. Could we have some sort of topping event through here? I like that thinking. I don't know whether it really makes a lot of sense to think moon from here. I don't know. That's just, it doesn't sit well with me. But so what? That's just Brian's opinion. So fucking what? I like, if I wanted to buy Bitcoins, I like the idea of just letting the market pull back into reload zones. You guys have heard me talk about this ad nauseum. Basically a Wyckoff check coming back down, just checking the original bottom. And if this is for real, then okay, rock and roll. And I think I kind of showed you on other assets. I don't know which one it was. But, if I'm a bull, I want to see, higher lows and higher highs. Give me a nice range to work with. I'll get long here. This will be my risk window. And this projection will be my profit objective. Somewhere up in there. Right? Somewhere up in there. Just eyeball it. Right? Probably up into that 877 level. But, this is exactly the same sort of thing as this. When we started to turn here, then I started to pull up, that chart right there, right? This stuff. When we started to turn, remember we had the big move up, and you got to let this thing consolidate. Such a wide range. They actually took it to new highs, and if anybody bought here, oh, geez, now I got to go through all this. Then notice the volatility came out. All your Bollinger Band studies, they all started crisping up. Our little LJ fired, which is just such a beautiful, simple setup. Bang, bang, bang. 50, what is this? Oh, that's off of that one there. 2 to 1. That's just the knee-jerk reaction for LJs. Bang, done. Merry Christmas. Next trade in 10 minutes. The botters, interestingly enough, I would say if I was in this, hey, look, if that's close enough, if we start to M out here, I want to get the hell out of here. And we haven't. So could we have another leg up here into that 12? Sure. Market can do any old damn thing it wants. I suppose that would be predicated on the tech stocks all super happy, rah, 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 bull. And then, ironically enough, we finally do hit that 11,578 chaos level. Once that event's happened and we're on the other side of that Ethereum event, all bets are off. And full disclosure, I love the idea of TRI SOFs now for the puts. The numbers are starting to come in, so Brian's back in there shopping again. Haven't spent any money in a little bit. Like, we did buy an ETH put there a week or so ago right in here. I guess, yeah, something like that right in here. So obviously that put itself is massively underwater. I'm not going to sweat about that. And I might go, like I said, there is that catalyst event date. Looks like we're trying to push higher here, so that's cool. Anywhere up in this area, these SOF numbers, remember I buy like 6 months of time, they're going to start looking pretty compelling. So, it's the same message I've told you lots recently. This is what I'm doing with my money. You don't have to spend any money on anything that I'm talking about here. The value of this presentation is probably worth exactly how much you paid for it to watch. If I've made a positive difference in your day and your life at all, if you've learned anything from any of these rants, then this is a win-win. So I'm going to go and take a final look at my book, see if there's any orders I have to get working. Like I said, keep your eyes peeled on these little junior POS coins. They seem to be having a little bit of a fun here. POS, i.e. Proof of shit. No. Piece of stake coin. No. Proof of piece of shit coin. POS. Anyway, have some fun. I thought it was hilarious that people got off nice fills on the Quacker here this morning. Perfect environment for that kind of stuff. It looks like the market's pretty well bid. I was joking with the site members. It looks like Charlie, his setups are starting to fire now. Charlie wants $100. So what the hell? I mean, fuck. If it's fate, it's fate. Look at this beautiful W on ETH coming in here on the weekly charts. It looks to me like the trend is turning. But at the same time, too, we've come an awful long way. Could we spend a couple months backing up here? Sure. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Anyway. All right. Hope you enjoyed the rant. Who knows if there was any value in all that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. All the best. And bye for now.